Hey, everybody. I am here with my longtime friend of 32 years, um, god sister, confidant, everything. Former Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf. Oh, and before I have to get started, I saw a picture of you and Sal watching the inauguration. What did you think?
I thought it was a great day. There's
Yeah,
something about Inauguration Day that just makes you full of hope. It is. It's always a new chapter for the city. You've got all this fresh energy coming in, blank slate, nothing but kind of hope and good wishes. Um, Shang is so likable and her story
oh,
is
yeah,
so powerful. And, her just kind of cool personality
hmm
shone through during her speech.
it's a great
And
speech. Yeah,
yeah, it was a really nice day. And she was very gracious. I felt very loved. I got recognized by her and by Kevin Jenkins,
yep.
the new District 6 council member, who also recognized Lauren Taylor, who deserved recognition as well.
Yep.
So I just thought it was a lovely day, all in all. And like my feelings for the Paramount Theater. So always just a big well of Oakland love when I walk in those doors, and just, Oakland showed up. Everyone looked happy and full of hope.
Yeah, it was great. And I think Amy Allison did a great job of, being the MC and everything else. So yeah, I hadn't seen her in a while. All right. I'm gonna take you back because this is 12 years of your life, but actually, for me, it's kind of like I don't know if I had in retrospect anything to do with it, but this doggone picture.
A little bit to do with it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Look at us in our nerdy glasses, and you sporting that mustache.
Mustache and glasses. Yeah. This is when I worked for Elihu.
I bet. And I'm actually wearing a dress Mary Lawrence gave me.
Yes, that's right. Don't you miss her?
Oh, very much so. My godmother.
Yeah, folks, America's first female photojournalist, by the way, Mary Morris Lawrence, who famously, it was you who introduced me to her. You did. And I remember going up to this house, and I don't know why I was nervous, Libby, but I know why, because when I walked through the door, I heard this, "Is that City Abraham?" And you all loved every second of it. And she was just laying into me about whatever it is I was writing in Montclair. It was like I miss her. And I thank you for introducing me to her.
Well, I loved, this group of friends we had back then, Zenny, really prided itself on not just being like multicultural and diverse, but very insistent on being multi-generational.
Yeah.
And Mary Lawrence, really was old enough to be my grandmother. And then, of course, my mom was like as much a sister as a parent, in those days. I remember we used to throw all sorts of parties. And
Christmas.
You were part of my like political awakening. I had never been involved with a campaign until I got to know you and Don Smith. And
yeah.
Don Smith's run for school board.
Yep.
And like that had to be the 80s. It was my first time I ever volunteered on a campaign.
That was actually 1992 when I met you, because I met your parents before I met you. I met your parents at Oakland Sharing the Vision.
Okay. I just saw Steve Costa, by the way.
How's he doing?
He's great. He has like a bookstore, and he like hosts authors in his, like, he has a beach retreat for them. But yeah, Steve Costa, who used to run Oakland Sharing the Vision.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And then before him, there was I wanted to run it. Richard Winnie. I don't know if I told you this. Richard Winnie made a recommendation for me to run Oakland Sharing the Vision.
Did LSU needed you more. You were running the city's economic development strategy.
I tried, but me aside, I remember the specific day and I told you should run for mayor. That was the 14th of May, 2009 at 6, just after 6 in the afternoon. My mom was there because your folks had me over for dinner, as they want to do, I think once a week or so, whatever it was.
At least liquid dinner.
Well, it was more than that. I'm not going to get I mean, I never really walked out of there. Well, not entirely soused. Anyway, the whole point is, her folks introduced me to Manhattans. But my whole point is, that was when I said you should run for mayor.
Wow, 2009. I hadn't run for anything then.
No, but I ticketed off the reasons why. And I think among them were you knew everybody in Oakland. And we called it Friends of Libby. Right? We called it Friends of Libby. And I'm gonna get this tight. And that I think really showed through. But for me personally, because I never got a chance to ask you, because what happened was when you decided to run, I didn't know you were running. You told me to wait. I'll never forget. You said, wait. I didn't listen. I was stupid. I admit that. Okay. Brian Parker came up and says, I want you to help me. I'm going to run for mayor. I need your sway. He was like, yeah, I thought, well, doggone, Libby didn't ask me. So I said, fine. And then I'm having dinner with your folks. And then I found out and I felt like, oh, you idiot. I should have just waited.
I wasn't planning to run until I was. Like, it literally was a light switch that went from off to on. So
what was the switch though? Because you were already by that time council member.
I was a council member, but I was sitting in the event that the Oakland Chamber of Commerce holds to do the fall poll results. Mm-hmm. And as Alex Evans walked through those poll results, I literally, like, in that moment, made the decision.
Yeah, I remember.
The feeling about where Oakland was and how people just did not have faith in the current mayor. And I have tons of respect for Jean Quan. She was there yesterday, and I was surprised she didn't get recognized because she should have.
Yeah, she should have.
She's a hard worker, very ethical, great policy positions.
Loves Oakland.
But for whatever reason, and this is, the fickle girlfriend of politics, just people weren't feeling her in that moment. Yeah. And I like to say sometimes I think her skill set was not the best match for that particular job. And so I realized that she was not going to be reelected no matter what. But Oakland was at this moment. It was kind of at a crossroads where there was an opportunity to take advantage of momentum to try and revitalize the city. But I felt like I could protect, the soul of Oakland from being sold out, which I think someone who's not a native or not like in love with Oakland's legacy would be tempted to do.
I think something that I figured out, and I get a glimpse of what I'm about to show next, but this was the precinct walk that we did for you.
You got attacked by sprinklers.
Yes. Oh God, yes, that's exactly what I'll play it. It's only a minute and 37 seconds long. So
now, do not let this discourage you from volunteering on campaigns, people. It's fun.
Schaaf in Oakland, California, Oakland Hills. It's Saturday morning. Actually, it's a lot of fun. And what's interesting, among all the signs, all these Joe Tuman for Mayor lawn signs, I was like over there and some other places. It's good exercise on top of supporting your friend.
Oakland Hills, right?
That's right. Well, more soon.
That's my mom.
Yeah, that's your mother.
Having fun? You having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Why don't we go the other?
Beautiful Saturday. Now, folks, when you're precinct walking, please turn off your sprinkler, okay? I mean, or just put up a sign that says, no soliciting or something. It would be nice. We're just precinct walking. What's up with that thing? You see what I mean? Wow. Thanks a lot. Jeez. So we're done, and I would say that the concerns are basically crime, potholes, and listening. That is, will a council member listen? Saw turkey, joggers, walkers. It's a great Saturday, and people who are concerned whether or not Arizona, Cal will beat Arizona State because the game starts in about an hour, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we had our priorities in line, Libby.
Yeah.
that was a complete blast. That was a total, and I missed that. That was And then when I did it for Don Smith, we had a somewhat similar experience with an elderly couple, and it was interesting because me being Mr. Oh yeah, I can talk. I realized quickly they didn't want to talk to me. They want to talk to you, and that was before. That was 92. Okay, and you were virtuoso. You handled them like playing a harp. Was that when you first realized, hey, maybe I can do something here, or was it around Oakland Cares? Because Oakland Cares happened around the same time, right?
Yeah. That, and you remember we also had something called Oakland Arts Party.
Sure do. Yeah.
It was a combination of volunteering, but also like going out to support different Oakland cultural institutions. And we defined institutions broadly, from the ballet to Eli's Mile High Club, which back then was a like temple to the West Coast blues. So it was a really fun group that both volunteered for arts organizations, but also supported them with our presence. And we had good times. And Oakland Cares, we did some great volunteer projects.
You did, yeah.
Zenny, I did not.
Hey, let me tell me about Oakland Cares. Tell them about Oakland Cares.
Oakland Cares was part of a national movement to try and encourage like young, busy professionals to volunteer in their communities. And so instead of requiring people to make some big ongoing commitment, Oakland Cares would develop one-shot projects that were on weekends or weeknights. And, you didn't have to be single or anything, but a lot of folks, I think, were. And it definitely had a little bit of a social aspect as well as service. And I love it.
You know who I'm talking about. She was
Pacific Coast Brewing Company. We drank a lot of brews there. But and my mom, and I like kind of stood the thing up. We tried to have a paid staff person for like a hot second, but we just couldn't quite, get it to the next level. So we actually merged it into Community Impact, which I think later merged with another organization that is still around today doing volunteer work. Mm-hmm. But this is where I want to credit Oakland Cares. I was in charge of the homework help night at the Boys and Girls Club for Oakland Cares. So if other people get to drop in without making a commitment, you do need one person to make a commitment to be there to train up the volunteers and support them when they show up. And I was that person for the Boys and Girls Club. I fell in love with volunteering. I fell in love with a young man named Nathan Anderson, who is still in my life. Love you, Nathan.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. He moved to Kansas City 20 years ago, and we still keep in touch. He always comes and sees us when he's here for Thanksgiving. He was here at our wedding when Sal and I got married. He stayed with us that whole summer, actually. So I always, my stump speech actually started with my story about Nathan and how that inspired me to leave the big corporate law job and pursue a path in public service, which I've never regretted.
Yeah. And then as you're running for council, we also had this 2010 party, which you might remember, which I thought was also a lot of fun here. Yeah.
Oh, Lisa!
Yeah. This is a little like.
I am headed to my friend Libby Schaaf's blogger and boosters party. She's running for District 4 City Council seat in Oakland, and where I'm headed are those flags in the distance. The Era
on Grand Avenue
Art and Design Bar.
The Era Art Bar.
Steve, how'd you meet this guy? I sat behind Bill Long in homeroom at Oakland High School.
Yeah. What was he like in homeroom?
Hey, he was a great guy then. He's a great guy now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, isn't that the biggest bunch of BS you ever heard?
So I'm really happy to be here. And introducing her, I just wanted to say there's many things I love about Libby, but I just wanted to share two of those things, and that I think are most relevant to why she would be a fantastic city council member for District 4. The first one is, so I met Libby when She was working for a member of the city council. I was working for a member of the city council. I think it's fair to say that our bosses didn't always see eye to eye on everything.
That's great things about Libby. I love this woman. I've known her since high school. She was my sidekick. She helped me through thick and thin. She taught me what it is to be diligent, hardworking. I could never keep up with this woman's schedule, and she's a huge inspiration to me. And I'm so happy to have her in my life. So I've known Libby since we were in Scouts together. We were also at Fairyland together. And now knowing Libby more as an adult, I've come to recognize that she's well thought of throughout the community. She knows a lot of people, well spoken. She is definitely hardworking. She knows a lot about her purpose and her mission in terms of becoming a councilwoman. And I love it. I love it.
Something that's great. Excellent. Councilmember Dovey.
Thank you. You know, one of the things that I'm absolutely convinced of is that Libby Schaaf is the most well-trained and qualified candidate for city council in the city of Oakland. Not only she work with my office, but I can tell you that when you work for Jerry Brown, when you work for Robert Bach, when you work for the Port of Oakland, then you really understand and you really know how the things function and how the things get done. And sometimes people run for politics for different reasons. And Libby runs for politics for two reasons. One, because she was born, bred in Oakland, loves Oakland, and because she's going to get things done. And that's what I love about the candidacy of Libby Schaaf.
It's a great event. Tell my viewers about you for city council. Oh, I think you should run for mayor.
See?
I think Libby should run for mayor. So go ahead.
No, I'm excited about being on the city council. I'm a good team player, and I've lived in this city my whole life. I've been doing volunteer work and community work my whole life. I like to say I've got dirt under my fingernails from every part of Oakland. And District 4 is where I'm born and raised. I've volunteered at the ranger station in Walking Miller Park every weekend during my childhood. I've planted redwood trees. I've weeded invasive species in the serpentine habitat at Redwood Regional Park. I love District 4. I was a lawyer in the library at the Diamond Library. I'm running for city council because I believe that Oakland has a great momentum going. Our downtown is on fire. Our schools have been improving. Our crime is down. Everything is going our way. We are a city with so many great assets, and we have some great positive momentum going. But I'm very worried that the current fiscal crisis in the city is going to take all that down. I bring a lot of knowledge about government, about public policy, and I want to apply that knowledge to help get Oakland back on track and keep that positive momentum going. I love Oakland, and that's why I want to be on the city council.
Tell me your website.
My website is www.libby4oakland.com.
Excellent. Hell love Oakland. I like that. So that was Libby's party, and it was a success, don't you think?
Oh, it was fabulous success.
Yeah, go Libby.
Have you
Go
talked
Libby.
to her lately? I haven't seen her in
Yeah.
5
All right.
years. I haven't seen her, Libby, in 5 years. Have you talked to her at all? Have you heard from
Yeah,
her?
I mean, we text more, but in fact, we went to a dance show together. You know, we were on yearbook staff
Yeah.
together at Skyline. We were dancers together. Her dad passed away recently,
Oh,
and then
no.
she's
I
been
never did
having like health issues herself. So
What's wrong?
but
let's
yeah,
look-
no, I mean that's the stage of life we're all in right now.
Yep, sure is. I got to go cancer screening. So, stuff happens when you got this.
As
60.
my dear friend Leslie Zimmerman says, when you get to our age, it's Manny Petty Coley.
Yes. I think I'll borrow that one. What will you, because I mean, I know we've gotten till the bottom half of the hour roughly, right? But what do you remember most about, what did you learn about yourself being mayor that you didn't realize before?
That my friend Keisha Fisher, I don't know if you remember her. We met through
Yeah,
Festival
I haven't seen her in a
Relations.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What happened to her? How's she doing?
She said something about me about being like a burnt marshmallow. That you have to be super, super tough on the outside to weather just the slings and arrows of the job, the crises, as I like to say, the collective trauma of the
Yep.
city, which it's your responsibility to hold, but that you have to stay gushy on the inside. You have to still care. And it's a hard needle to thread because there are days when it's so much that part of you just wants to either fall apart or run away, but you cannot do that. You have to show up strong every day for the city. But you can't lose that compassion either, because that, I think, is what is needed to be a leader. And I definitely have learned the difference between power and authority and leadership.
Yeah.
You know, one is given by your title or by the charter of the city of Oakland, but it does not make you a leader. That is something you've got to earn every day. And I feel like some of the best things I got done as mayor were not part of the job description. They were outside of the formal authority of mayor, particularly the work, like I'm very passionate about the babies. And the work that we got done around children
Oakland
was
Promise.
really all outside of the formal authority of mayor or, the city's charter. But it's probably some of the work I cared the most about.
I got to ask you before we run out of time. Mark Davis said came out on Twitter, but basically he was talking about how when the Chiefs play on other teams, the stadium is mostly orange if it's the Broncos or red if it's the Chiefs. And he said, we have to do something about Allegiant Stadium is not like it was in Oakland. Now, what do you think, Libby?
If there is karma in this world, that stadium will never be black and silver if it were up to me. My heart was broken. I'm very angry and bitter about, I feel like the Raiders really dealt in bad faith. We actually gave them a deal that was reasonable, that was still responsible for the long-term fiscal health of the city of Oakland. Ronnie Lott was, this amazing partner in it. We had everything lined up. And I mean, you saw Eric Grubman say, like, no one could have done better than I did in trying to save the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will certainly always, the truth is though, like I came in as a mayor and all three teams had already decided to leave. I felt like I made an honorable attempt to save the Raiders. I think I left with the bases loaded on saving the A's.
So where are we at now?
I like I said, the bases are loaded. I think, and I have every confidence Shang will be able to bring it home. I know she cares very much. It's a big priority for her. So I think all that forward momentum will just keep going.
Does that mean they stop looking at Las Vegas then?
They keep on saying, I don't blame them for saying parallel tracks until they have a deal, until it is certain. And I also just want to, respect that this is not some simple little ballpark deal. This is a whole neighborhood on the California coastline. And just look out. I know you're in Atlanta, but if you look out the window today, and if you look at pictures of what's going on California's coastline,
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Climate threat is real. And so it's a very complicated project. It has got to be done right. The details have got to be done right. So I'm glad that, everyone's taking their time to make sure it gets done right, because Oakland's not just going to get to keep their A's. The people will get back their waterfront. Waterfronts are magical. Oakland has 20 miles of waterfront, and enough of it has been dedicated to other people's commerce and private interests. It is time for Oaklanders to get a bit of that waterfront back.
But I got to ask you, you got like 4 department heads that have already departed and more on the way. So with this kind of, stern and drum, how are the A's going to be comfortable that they can really get this done and finish it?
Listen, the key staff working under me are in place still. Betsy Lake, who's been a huge leader, in place. Ed Briskin is leaving, but that's part of the natural cycle. First of all, Oakland is fortunate to attract amazing star talent. It is not surprising that they get poached by other agencies or organizations. And that also people feel like it's just time once they've done, their duty to move to a different experience. So
is Molly still project manager though? Is Molly Is Molly Mayburn still the project manager?
She is. I know her contract is coming to an end in a couple months, so it will be interesting to see whether she decides to stay on. But whether she stays or leaves, her contribution to this project is invaluable. She is amazing. She's brilliant, and we have a lot to thank her for.
Now, Libby, you know what I'm going to say? They ought to hire me to
Oh,
fix
come on. Don't say it. You've already said it.
I know.
Your viewers have heard it.
It's true. It's true. You know, I'm the best I've seen. But anyway, me aside, because I am really delighted to have watched you ascend. It has been, and I hope it continues to be, regardless of from where you're going. I don't know where you're going. To be honest, I'm not saying that. I really don't. But it's been a singular joy, especially since I feel like I gave birth to the idea. And I should have said, I remember when you called me after you got elected and you were kind enough to say, and I can say this now publicly, you asked me what to do about Mark Davis, how to handle, you had a meeting. And I gave you an answer. But the first thing that I said was really stupid. I said, Libby, don't hire me. And then, you know, as time went on, I thought, why did I say that? You know, I thought I could really fix this, because I was saying, oh, we'll hire this person and that person. And that was one of the dumbest things I ever did. But I was just trying to, I didn't want to take advantage of our friendship, but watching you get there, and I was just so happy you got there. I didn't know what to do. It was like, yeah, you did it, all that stuff. You made the right moves. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. And, it's a testament that we are still friends. We still love Oakland. We're still paying attention to Oakland, watching out for her best interests, trying to make sure that people are, knowledgeable and engaged. Thank you for giving everybody a little history lesson on, but I hope people, speaking of being engaged, saw how much fun you had out walking and knocking on doors. At the end of the day, if you value our democracy, and I certainly do, and we I think saw, a couple of years ago on January 6th, that it is not to be taken advantage of. We can't take it for granted.
And those folks who backed Chang and Kevin and Nikki and all even the people who didn't win. I mean, it's a great way to get to know your city, as well as yourself, because you find out things about yourself you didn't know were there. You know what I'm saying? Being
involved in a campaign is it's the best thing you could ever do. So please get involved with any campaign, a person, a cause. This is what democracy needs. And not, I'm seeing more and more money in politics, people paying people to go out and knock on doors. There is nothing like when you know somebody, you know them from before they were in politics. You saw all my friends from high school and Girl Scouts and,
Did you go to your reunion? Skyline. You're great.
I've gone to all my reunions, even though Phil Tagami hosts them, and I'm mad at him about the coal thing. I know where you are on that. We won't open up that can of worms.
Libby, I will say with one sentence: if we can put a person on the moon and a machine, we can fix fossil fuels too, and it's being done around the world. That's all I got to say. I'm a technologist. I refuse to push people out of jobs. And I cry for a lot of people openly, because we can fix our society now. Okay? Now.
I agree with that. And to me, that future does not include coal, but that's just
no choice. It's the number one commodity in the world. What are you going to do?
There are more jobs in California's clean energy economy than in the entire country on coal. Literally more jobs just in California on clean energy than nationally working on coal.
If you take, and I'm not defending coal in and of itself, because you can't do coal like we used to do. It has to be cleaned up. What I'm talking about, folks, is not coal. I'm talking about the intelligent job of fixing our energy system so that it produces cleanly, period. I'm talking about applying technology to do it. People all tied up in coal who don't even know about the coal. You had, people saying, well,
I agree. Zenny, you and I agree on that.
you know that, do you know that, Libby, do you realize that iron ore is 7 times dirtier than coal? 7 times.
This is the direction we've got to go, and we have to go there with all urgency.
Clean technology. We can do it. No Luddites, no pushing people out of jobs. Yeah, people hating us on the other side of the country. They don't need to. We can put genius to work on this stuff. We can fix it.
All right. Well,
I'm a technologist. I'm
that
sorry.
is one of the issues I'm sure I will remain involved in. Climate change. It's been that's actually been that was one of my last things as mayor, was to participate in COP27 in Egypt. I did 15 talks in 4 days. But it was great. People really are interested in what Oakland is doing. And I think there's a increased interest in what cities can do, like the local role for local governments, not just national governments, in achieving our climate goals. So
you need to go to
excited about all that.
You can go to West Virginia. You've got the personality, and talk with them. No, seriously, they need help.
Talk to the coal miners.
We should have 0 casualties from the solution to this problem. And right now we have a lot of them. And
I agree with you.
I'm saying if I were in charge economically, there would be 0 casualties. Okay. I know.
I like that. I like that.
I know how to fix this problem. I don't care. I am arrogant. I can do it. If I can do it though, you know me, you're smart. You can do it too. We got to stop this division stuff. It's wrecking us, Libby.
Well, I agree with that. And that is one thing that I've always loved, is knocking on someone's door, listening to them.
And you're good at it.
And actually trying to hear them and see them.
Yeah.
And I hope that we, as the kind of keepers of democracy, continue to do that, like door by door, person by person, because that is the essence of democracy, is just neighbor to neighbor conversations about what we want our future to look like.
I mean, heck, if you can almost get me married, remember that girl from Oakland Cares that came by my place? Dang on it. Oh, I miss her. But anyway.
I've been trying, Zenny. For 30 years, we've all been trying.
Well,
all right, listen, I got to bounce.
There's only 2.
Says Yoda.
Yes.
Well, some of it's on you, my friend. But anyway, Zenny, it's just been a pleasure being a friend of yours, being like family.
Yeah.
And your viewers should know you have not always been kind to me. You always are honest. You're not afraid to disagree or criticize me, and that is what we all sign up for. And honestly, our friends are honest. It doesn't help.
You're the same way with me though, Libby. Come on.
And so just love you, my brother. Love that you're holding a piece of Oakland history.
Yeah, I'm just glad Saul doesn't want to kill me, though. That's the thing. You think I haven't seen him in person? You're probably going,
Let's just send all of our love and hope for a great 2023 for Oakland, for America, for the world, out there into the universe. I know I'm still full of hope and optimism, and I'm excited to continue to advance all the things that I'm really passionate about, and use all the wisdom that I've gained from this incredible city.
So what are you going to do next?
Zenny, I will let you break the news. I have not told a single member of the media the answer to that question. So you may be the first, my friend.
I want to be the first. Yeah.
I know. I've saved this for you. Trust me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am teaching a class at the Goldman School of Public Policy at UC Berkeley starting in 1 week. And that's why I've got to go really soon, because I'm going to see my classroom for the first time. And
you're joining Annie Campbell Washington.
Yeah. She doesn't teach. She's a dean.
Right, she's a dean.
But yeah, I'm teaching a class called The Role of Public-Private Partnerships in Systems Change. And I've accepted 2 fellowships. One with the Mayors for a Guaranteed Income, and one with Harvard. And it's a fellowship they created for me. I'm the inaugural public sector fellow.
At the Kennedy School?
Not at the Kennedy School, actually at the Graduate School of Education and their By All Means initiative. So kind of advancing the type of work we did around the Oakland Promise, and really thinking about that the only way we're going to close the achievement gap is by addressing the well-being of children and families more holistically. And that cannot just be done by educators. It takes all of us to do that. So really excited, feel very honored that Harvard is bestowing this honor on me as an inaugural fellow. They've never had this fellowship before. So that will be starting when classes start with them as well.
Hey, Oakland Promise, how do you feel about its future? Since you're...
I feel great. You know, the Oakland City Council just affirmed their selection as the implementation partner for college access for the first contract period for Measure AA. And then you saw that, like, my goodbye gift to Oakland was that $50 million quasi endowment.
Yep.
So I feel like we made an audacious promise and we kept it, which is for the next generation, every baby born to low-income parents in Oakland has access to a $500 college savings account and financial coaching. And every graduate of an Oakland public school who is from a low-income family has automatic access to $1,000 a year at least scholarship, and not just for four-year college. It can be for community college. It can be for a trade certificate, and it's last dollars. It can support, your food, your rent, not just tuition, because a lot of our students qualify for free tuition, but it's a cost of living here that is really getting in the way of opportunity. So feel very good about that. I think we've left, that organization in a really strong place, and hats off to the East Bay College Fund, which, the two organizations merged, and that has just really kept the promise. So very excited about that. I gotta go. But
I thought you were gonna be a fundraiser for some company, because you can make it rain,
I care about issues, Zenny. I promise you I'll work the rest of my life in public interest. And what exactly that will look like in the long term, we shall see.
I have an idea. Okay, I got an idea.
All right. I'll find out about it on April Fool's Day, I'm sure.
No, I got something special for that one. I always do whoever the incumbent is. So watch out.
All right.
It's always something that's real, folks. So yeah. In fact, remember the April Fool that I did about you about
That's
Mayor?
what I'm saying. Yeah. I got a call from Don Parada's campaign. They thought you were serious.
Oh no! And I remember Druso was having us for the Colombo Club for dinner, and Larry Chumutolo, who I never met, didn't even know he looked like, comes up to me, puts his hand on my shoulder, and says, "You scared the crap out of us," because I had written that she was going to run for mayor early on before she ran for council.
As an April Fool's joke.
As an April Fool joke. Yeah, scared. Everybody's like, "Oh no, you can't take it down." I said, "Why?" That's what you all are afraid of. I just simply took your fears and threw them at you.
Well, anyway, it's been an amazing honor. You know how much I love my hometown. So take care, Zenny, and I'm sure I'll talk to you again soon. Love to your mom.
Yeah, like in a few minutes. But anyway, I'll see you. You got it. All right. See you in the backstage, Libby. Don't go anywhere. I got this. All right. I got this. All right, let's go. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us. Subscribe to Zenny62 and check out my new Zenny62.com. That ends this broadcast. See ya. Yeah, what I did